I'm Sherry and this is Gardening in the North, and today I want to show you or share with you how I plant my onion seed. Last year I planted over 450 onions, and I can tell you right now that that was not enough for my family of 5. I have a few left in the cold cellar, but not enough that is going to last me until my next harvest of onions are ready. So this year I'm doubling it, and I'm going to be planting over 900 onion seeds. I have 8 varieties, and just to tell you quickly what they are, I have Elsa Craig, I have white sweet Spanish, I have yellow sweet Spanish, I have red globe, I have early yellow globe, I have Texas early grano, and I have red burgundy from M.I. Gardner and red beard bunching. Now, all of these are long day onions. These 2 are short day onions. Long day onions are better for the northern zones. These do much better in our zones. So any zone 6 and lower, long day onions are the best. Short day onions are for zones 7 and up, so 7 to 10. So I'm taking a bit of a risk on trying these. But we had a really hot summer last year, and when I think about how much effort I'm really putting into these, really, worst case scenario, I will harvest these as they grow in my grow room and use them in salads or cooking and not even put them outside. So I think it's still going to be a good idea. Now, before we get started on which soil I'm going to be using and how I'm going to be planting these, I really wanted to talk to you about plant markers. I don't know if these are a thorn for you, but they are for me. So let's take a look at what I'm doing this year. Plant markers are a huge thorn for me in every garden I've ever had. Every time I put a plant marker out in the garden, within 6 weeks, I have no idea what variety that is. This year is going to be different. And the reason I know that is because I'm going to use a similar method that I used last year on my garden signs. So last year I made garden signs to put throughout my garden that had words on them that said pumpkin, melon, asparagus, squash, and I used a spray Varieties on them. And I can tell you that at the end of the year, they looked amazing still. So I went out to my local Dollarama. I bought all of these extra large jumbo popsicle sticks. I used a Sharpie to write the onion name on them, or onion variety. And now I'm going to spray them. I'm going to put 2 coats of Varieties on them, and I'm good to go. I should be able to use these next year as well. I estimate that I will get 2 years out of these popsicle sticks. Let's get to it. Start, I like to use this big Rubbermaid container. My trays will fit into this container really well. And so what I like to do is I like to fill it up with dirt, whatever soil I'm using, and then I can actually put my trays on top of that and fill it in, or even dump another bag on top, pack it in how I want it. And then usually what I will do is take my lid, put it back on top, and put my seeds on top of the lid, and I will then start putting my seeds in where I want them. Sometimes I'll do it right inside the bin. It just depends how I feel at the time. So the seed starting mix that I like to use, that I've had really good success with, is the Miracle-Gro. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. I just thought I would share with you what I like to use. I've used this for the past couple of years, and I haven't had any troubles with it. Okay, so you can see here that it still isn't wet enough because it's not even staying together. Okay. And again, I'm just going to do a mix. Okay, I can totally feel that it is getting better. It's staying together a little bit better. But I'm just going to add a little bit more. Okay. There are 3 ways that you can grow onions. You can do what I'm doing here and you can germinate seeds. So if you have a place where you can set up a mini grow station or a greenhouse or something like that, then you can actually germinate your seeds 8 to 10 weeks before your average last frost, and then you can harden them off and plant them outside. Now, I'm in zone 5B, and so I normally would plant or germinate my seeds anytime in January, and then mid-April to the end of April, I start that hardening off and I get those seedlings planted. The second way you can do it is you can wait and buy these exact same seedlings that you would have grown from your local nursery, and you can do the exact same thing. You can plant them right out into your garden. Most of the time, nurseries have already hardened them off for you, so you don't really have to worry about that. The third way you can do it is by buying onion sets. Now, onions are biannual, and what that means is that they will actually go to seed every second year. And when you buy an onion set, so that mesh bag with all the little bulbs in them, those are actually year 2 onions. What's happened is somebody has gone through this whole germination process and they've grown those bulbs to the size that they are, and then they put them away and they go dormant. And what happens is the following year, people will buy those onions and plant them in their garden. It's a great way to do it. I did it for years like that. The only thing that I would say to you is that if you have the ability to buy seedlings or to germinate them yourself, you will get a better harvest. Your onions will be larger and you'll have less chance of your onions going to seed. Now, what happens is year 2, those onion sets that you bought, they are designed to, yes, grow a bigger bulb, but they're also designed to go to seed. So a lot of their energy that they're putting into growing is growing that flower to go to seed. Whereas these onions here that I'm going to be growing, their only job really is to grow a bigger bulb so that I have bigger onions. So I have filled all of my containers with the dampened soil, and I've left a little bit of room so that I can put my seeds in, sprinkle a little bit more of soil on top, and then add vermiculite. Now, I like adding vermiculite to the top of my seedling trays because it actually helps to keep the soil moist. And I've noticed that not only does it help me to keep that soil moist, but it also wards off any kind of fungal diseases that I might get on top. Now, I don't know if you have experienced that, but I've experienced that the smaller the cells, the worse it seems to be. So I'm going to fill these up with seeds. I'm going to put a thin layer of soil on top, put some vermiculite, and then I'm going to actually spray the whole tray with a spray bottle to give it that second drink. Once I'm done that, I'm going to put all of these trays on heat mats, and I'm going to wait for them to start germinating. Once I start to see some growth coming, I'll then put on the lights so that they can have that extra nutrient that they need to grow bigger. Now, one thing I want to point out is that if you ever notice that some of your seedlings are growing at a faster rate than the rest of them, give them a haircut. Keep your onion seedlings at, the greenery that comes up at about 3 inches so that they stand nice and tall. And every time you give them a haircut, throw all those cuttings into whatever meal you're making that day. All right, take a look at one of the containers that I did. I have 3 of these containers, plus I have another container that I filled with soil and probably planted in that one roughly 200 onions. I'm estimating that I planted 2 million onions. No, but in all reality, I probably planted in this tray alone 450 onions. And I have 3 of them. So needless to say, I will be sharing my onion seedlings with friends and family. I'm going to get these on the heat mats. I'm going to make sure that they stay nice and moist. Once I start to see a little bit of germination and growth, I will turn on the lights and I will start watering them from the bottom. I'll stop using my spray bottle on the top and I'll just water them from the bottom. Thanks for spending time with me.